What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Hardworking Happy Hour. I'm Sean.
And I'm Catherine, and as always, we'll be breaking down all things trades, entrepreneurship, and turning your creativity into a passion career.
What is going on? How you doing, Catherine?
Not much.
Why are you eating a Cheez-It right now?
I don't know why. I popped one right as I hit record. That was dumb. Just go ahead and talk, and I'll finish my business, and you can.
All right. Well, how's everybody doing? Happy week, everybody. The Cheez-Its are getting out of control.
I am on a Cheez-It bender. I cannot stop. It's like
every time I
habit,
see you, you're eating
cannot.
Cheez-Its. I mean, Cheez-Its are delicious. Do not get me wrong. I love Cheez-Its.
Yeah.
Sarah came back from the store last night. Had a box of Cheez-Its with her in tow. I was psyched about it. Didn't open them.
Go. Just go fully in, dive in, commit like I have, and
I feel like for once it's not me being out of control with something and just like, all or nothing. You gotta get it in check with these Cheez-Its. Jeez.
I know.
Anyway, back to the show, everybody. What's going on? Catherine, how was your week? It was a good week. It was a good week.
It was a good week. It flew by so quickly that I barely remember what happened this week. We started a new job. That was exciting.
Yep.
That was all week, right? Monday, we started that new job.
You know what? Now I'm starting to not remember. This is not making for good radio. We were so busy and so productive and just really on it all week that we didn't even have to worry about what day it was. So we did finish another job. We got that done towards the end of last week. We had a couple little hangers this week to finish up there, and we kind of went full bore into our new project, and I'm pretty psyched about it. It's going really well so far, and this one is like a logistical tester for us.
Definitely.
Logistical tester. And in the past, how have we done on logistical tests?
I want to say not great.
Yeah, I want to say not great as well. It's probably, hey, we're creative. We are good at building stuff. Tight logistics, not our strong suit. Not terrible. I mean, it's not like, we're like in what's that word I'm looking for? Not
incapable.
It's not like we're incapable.
Yeah.
We're not competent. It's just it's not our strong suit. And this job site is calling for a lot of logistical planning, and I think so far so good on this one. The situation that we're dealing with here is a tight driveway access. It's on somewhat of a main road, so none of us can park in the driveway. They also have a Tesla that needs to be charged. So they need access to the one garage bay, and the rest of the driveway is pretty small. So we're really cramming a lot of stuff into there, and it's been pretty tight, but pretty good. So we've had to get lumber dropped, lug it all into the backyard, and stage it back there so it's out of the driveway. We have already gone through 5 dumpsters on this project.
Yeah. Just
pretty crazy.
Drop and grab, yeah.
Just drop and grab. We had demo of a deck. That's one dumpster. We had one concrete dumpster, and we're going on our 3rd dirt dumpster. So the logistics on that have been super important to get them in and out, because we've got so many to do. We'll be taking out almost 60 yards of soil out of this backyard, which is pretty insane.
It's a lot, yeah. It feels like a lot. It definitely feels like we're taking 60 yards of dirt out, because it's a lot.
It's definitely a lot. It didn't seem like it was going to be quite that much. I thought it was probably going to be 2 dumpsters, so about 40 yards. But it's a lot of dirt. It's a lot of dirt that needs to go down, and we got some grading issues that we're going to have to address. So it's going to be a fun one for sure. And so far, so good. I think we're doing pretty good logistically. We've got a lot of it dug out. We've got the whole deck framed up in just a couple days. So we are moving, we are grooving, and we are ready to party. I guess.
As they say, yes.
As they say, So, yeah, anything else you wanna talk about from this week? What do you got?
Um, it was Take Your Child to Work Day, one of the days
Oh, it
this week.
was
That was really
yesterday.
very cute, and, you brought your son, and Tony brought his son, and it was just not productive, really. Well,
No,
Tony
no, no,
was able to
no.
stay, like, pretty productive still,
Yeah,
um, but it was, obviously not quite as productive as normal, but it was so worth it because they were so cute, and they were having such a good time, and they were learning how to hammer, and
yeah.
it was cute.
It was definitely, it was definitely cute, not super productive in the morning because, Max is only 3 and, he requires a little bit more oversight.
Yeah.
He cannot work independently yet, so, that was a little something, and I just thought it was really funny because the homeowner has Ring cameras, as almost everybody does, and they're actually away
Mhm.
on vacation, so, yesterday was the first full day where they weren't there, and it was just chaos. There was children there. Um, Sarah, my wife, showed up for a while, so like there
Mhm.
was just a lot of people standing around. It almost looked like we were having a party in their backyard.
It did, yeah.
And they weren't there, and only like 2 people were like working for that
Mhm.
that period of time. But
Yeah.
uh, it was really just the morning, and it was worth it. It was a lot of fun, and it's good to expose children to the trades.
Yeah, definitely,
You know,
definitely. And
because
Max was
how are they
asking
gonna
a lot
say
of
at
good questions, which I appreciated.
yeah, how are they gonna say by the time they're 30 that they've been in the trades for 37 years if they don't start super
Exactly.
early? So,
Exactly.
we gotta get them prepared for those, comment sections where they can be the experts.
Right.
So, that's what I got for you.
So how was your week? What did you have?
My week? It was
Yeah.
great. It was excellent. Did I?
Okay.
I probably did not mention this. I got a new tractor.
This is the first I'm hearing of this.
Probably either the first or like the 35th, but that's more of a personal purchase. I got a zero turn lawnmower that I'm pretty psyched about.
Yeah.
So I took delivery of that on Wednesday, and
I took delivery on that.
yes, I did. It landed in my driveway Wednesday afternoon, and now I'm a man with a tractor.
And you've been on it
So
every day since.
yes, except for today, not yet,
Not
but
yet. There's
I'm
still time.
definitely going to. I mean, it's in my plan. So yeah, that's exciting.
That is exciting.
It's exciting. That's more of a
I can
personal thing,
tell
but
how excited you are by how much you're talking about it, and that is a
really?
lot.
Has it been excessive? Has it been excessive how much I've been talking about this tractor? It's more of a lawnmower than
Uh,
tractor, but I keep just calling it a tractor just because.
I know. I keep, not that I know the difference, but I was like, isn't it a lawnmower? Why do you keep calling it a tractor? What makes it a tractor and not a lawnmower? What's the difference? I thought a tractor like trailered things.
This can trailer things.
Okay.
Yeah, you might have to, custom fab something, but it will. Definitely will.
There's no hitch
Max
on
said
it.
the same thing. Max has like a super mini John Deere style tractor that he
Hmm.
rides, and when I showed him the picture of my tractor, he was like, "That doesn't look like my tractor." He didn't identify it as a tractor, but
Yeah.
that's neither here nor there. It's a tractor, and it's pretty cool. So that's what I got going on in my personal life. Thank you very
Hmm.
much.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Shall we move
Big
on?
news. Big news. I think so. Yeah, I think so.
All right. So you know what? Well, let's lay out what we're going to talk about. We read a book called "The Buddha and the Badass," and it was recommended by our friend Tim Sperry from Carbon Limit that we had on a couple weeks ago. And it piqued my interest right away because I've always been very interested in mindfulness and meditation stuff and all of that. So I've read a lot of books about that kind of stuff. I've
Hmm.
read a lot of business books, and this is kind of at least it was kind of summarized to me as a melding of both of those ideologies. So I was excited to read it. I thought it's a really cool premise, and I enjoyed the book a lot. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that book, and we are also going to talk about building a team culture.
Hmm.
Right?
Yeah,
That kind of sums it up, right?
pretty
Because
much. Yeah.
that was covered a lot in the book, and it got me thinking about a lot of things. But those are going to be the two main things that we're going to talk about. But before we get into that, I want to talk about something else here a little bit,
Okay.
and that is how do you deal with old projects that something might go wrong, something pops up that
Oh, okay.
was unexpected, and what do you do about it? So let me lay out the scenario for you here.
Mhm.
Um, we did a very big project 2 years ago, 2 summers ago, and they had a couple things came up. So number one, we did these huge accordion style doors coming out of this sort of addition that we basically built. One of the panes of glass broke on that. So that was covered under warranty. So the manufacturer sent out a new panel. So we had to go back and fix that. They also had a couple pavers that they weren't super happy with. They were just a little bit out. Like there was some raised edges where they met another paver. So there was like two of those that they were kind of concerned about. And then they also had a tiny house put in for their nannies to live in. And one of them left a candle on the step that we built outside of that, and it completely burned through it. And super fortunate that nothing more serious happened. It just melted this entire landing that we built, and that kind of needed to be repaired. Plus, they
Mhm.
were having a problem with their waterfall in their pool. The pool guy needed to run a piece of conduit underneath of a little section of our pavers, so we had to take those up as well and then relay those. So, a bunch of little things that they
Mhm.
needed taken care of, none of which were really our fault or our duty to fix, I guess, except for they had a couple pavers that they weren't super happy with, like the edges were kind of sticking up next to the other pavers. So that was like the only thing that I guess the other things, would still kind of fall under not necessarily our responsibility, but we probably would do them, but it's definitely reasonable to charge for these type of things. Replacing a door
Mhm.
panel, it broke. We're not really sure how it broke, but it broke. Not our fault. Also, somebody left a candle burning on this landing. Definitely not our fault. So we had to go back. This was a big project almost 2 years ago. Went back, looked at the pavers first of all. Um, I definitely saw what they were talking about, but it was not, it was I would say it's very minor thing. A lot of people probably wouldn't even notice it, but hey, they pointed it out. It bothered them, and it was valid enough that I said, okay, you know what, we'll lift these couple pavers up, we'll fix them. No problem. We want you to be super happy with this every little bit. We laid, probably 1,000 slabs back there, and two of them they weren't super happy with. So we replaced those, reset them, and they were happy with that. And then all these other little things. I decided I wasn't going to charge them for any of it. I
Mhm.
decided we're just going to go up there. We are going to take care of this. The pavers, number one, that kind of falls on us. We'll take care of that. Taking up a couple pavers to run a piece of conduit for the waterfall, not really our fault there. Not at all. We didn't deal with the pool contractor at all. That was them. But it was easy enough to do. We're going to be there anyway, picking up a couple pavers. It's not going to add a whole bunch of time. It's not going to add a whole nother trip. So we can take care of that. Same thing with the door. It's like, you know what? We're going to be up there. We'll swap out that door panel for you. It's not going to take a whole lot of time. The one thing that I was really on the fence about was this landing that, it was going to take two and a half decorators boards to do it. So you're talking like $250 worth of materials to build this thing. And that's where I was really like, should I charge them to build this thing? Should I charge them $750 to build a new landing? It was just really one box step. Um, and I thought about it and I said, you know what? I'm gonna go the extra mile here and say, we're gonna be up here anyway. There was a couple things that I agree weren't absolutely perfect, as things never really are, but we're gonna fix these pavers, and I want to leave you with a really good impression of us and how we deal with issues when they come up. So you know, we're going to rebuild this for free. We were able to do most of it with scraps that we had left over, so it wasn't a huge deal. Um, and it was like, what do I value more? That maybe $750, maybe $600. I don't even know how to charge for something that small. Um, or do I value the impression that they have at the end of this project? You know, they spent a lot of money on their backyard. Do I want them to have this last interaction with us being, oh, he nickel and dimed us for this little landing, or man, he came back. It was 2 years later. He came back. He fixed every little thing that we pointed out. He even rebuilt this landing for us for free and swapped out this door panel, no problem. That's the impression that I wanted to leave to them, and that's what we did. And I think at the end of it, I think that was the right decision to make, and I'm happy with it. You were kind of on the fence about it. What are your thoughts about this? I kind of blabbered for a while.
Yeah. I
Reel
was
it
not
in
on the
for me.
fence about it. I wanted them to pay. But I like this project was a huge project. We were there for like 5 months
Yeah,
and
not a good
uh
moneymaker.
not a good moneymaker.
Not.
It was a big project and it was beautiful, but it was very big. And one thing about Premier Outdoor Living, the longer we're there, the more you're gonna get. Because it's like we're there, they already got a lot out of us, pretty much. And like
Yeah,
with something like the door, I can understand being the one to go back and replace that because we were the ones that installed it, and it's not just like a normal door. It's like it was a complicated install, and Anthony already like and you knew like how to do it. It would take
yeah,
somebody else a while to like figure out how to properly take it apart and then redo
yeah,
that. Um, so just from like a time standpoint, I can see why like that needed to be done. But to me, I'm like, if you waited 2 years to complain about a couple of pavers, couldn't have been that big of a deal. And the step is like, that's your fault. They burnt the step. That's not on us. We shouldn't have to eat that cost. You should have to
yeah,
pay for it. Whether it's a big, we still had to send 3 guys there for like the better portion of a day. Like that's money. That should be, compensated for. And it was 2 years after. Like they are well out of warranty. And to me it also opens the door for them. I'm not saying that these specific clients will do this because they were lovely people, but um the more you extend your warranty or like get kind of like you put some leeway in there, like I just feel like people are going to take advantage of it. Like 2 years from now, are they going to call back and be like, well, actually these pavers are, and then we're like, okay, well, we're 4 years out. Like, what did you do to the pavers? Like, we can't possibly know what
mm,
happened, or I just feel like people should be paid for their work. You don't need
yeah.
to. I don't think that they expected you to do any of this for free. So maybe they were just so happy that. But to me, it's also like you got to set a precedent. You work and you get paid for it. It wasn't something that we messed up. So why
Yeah,
should we have to do? Why should we have to work for free because you almost burnt down this step? You know.
that's a good point. You laid it out in a really that's a good point kind of way.
I do, and I think that you operate from the kindness of your heart a lot, and I think that that is great. And maybe they will recommend us now because you've done this, and that's wonderful. I hope they don't because that job was really far away. So
Yeah, it's really not.
if if they recommend us, I hope it's someone who's not even close to them geographically and
Yeah,
happens to be much closer to us. Um, but I think that that's how you look at it a lot, kind of more of like put these good things into the ether and like it'll generate more leads and all that kind of stuff. So I don't discredit your view of thinking about it, but to me it wouldn't have even been a question. It would have been like none of this was
yeah.
our fault. Like if we're going to take guys away from our current job to go do this, we only got a couple guys. There's only a couple of us.
It's true.
So it is going to take
It's
away.
true.
Not only are we like giving you something for free because we are making you this new step or whatever, you're also cutting down on our productivity on our current job that we need to make money on because you're taking 3 guys away from it. So to me, it's
That's a
just
good
kind
point.
of like, you get paid for the services that you do. That's just how the world works to me. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
but I am notoriously
Did I
more
do the wrong
cutthroat
thing?
than you.
Did I do the wrong thing?
Should I send him an invoice?
Probably. Say, you know what? Yeah, forget what I said. That
Yeah.
was ridiculous.
I can't
Pay
believe
me
you listened
for
to
it.
Sean on that. This is an
Yeah,
invoice.
yeah, yeah. I'm the captain now, and this is gonna
Yeah.
cost some money. Uh,
There
that's
have
a
been
good point.
with that specific job though, there were a couple things that they, like, added while we were there, and, you were kind of sick of it, but not sick of it, but, like, you were like, "Okay, they keep asking things, you're gonna have to talk to Catherine," and she's like, "I don't wanna talk to Catherine."
Yeah, because they knew it was just
They knew
gonna
it
be
was gonna
like,
be
a
a no.
no. Yeah. Um, that's very true. Uh, like, the thing that stuck out to me that you said was precedent, and I think that's how I'm looking at it as well, but from a different perspective because it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, is this gonna lead to more projects? Like, probably not. Like, I still want them to speak well of us and speak highly of what we did for them and all of that, but, they're far away, like, the chances of them knowing somebody that's a lot closer to us, it gets pretty slim. So it's like
Mhm,
this one in particular isn't necessarily going to be like, okay, this is an investment in our reputation for them to talk about us to somebody else. It was more of like, kind of introspective, like how do I want to, what kind of business do I want to run? And
mhm,
I think one of the things that I want when people hire us to know that like you're getting the best out of us. You're getting the best that we can possibly provide and we're going to take care of you. We don't want it to be that like strictly transactional type of service. We want it to feel like we really care and I think the business is built to do these bigger projects. It's not built
mhm,
to make $600 building a little landing and building out a couple hours here and there. I understand that all that adds up and like that is part of doing business, but for me I just think that $600 or $750 isn't going to move the needle for us that much. Like we're
mhm,
not built to do that kind of stuff anyway. Um I just feel like it was more important to me to feel like we went above and beyond. Like I always want to feel like we went above and beyond what we said we were going to do, what we promised. We went a little bit further. That's what I always want to feel, and as long as I
mhm,
feel like we really did go above and beyond in all the ways that we could, then I'm fine saying, okay, if they call back about some other thing, like, hey, this thing chipped, like what the heck, I'll be like, okay, well, that's not on us, like
mhm,
there is an end to this at some point, like not that they would because they were great clients, but I just want to feel like we went above and beyond. And for me, just knowing that I stuck to that value for myself, I think that's more important than that $600 or $750. And the two pavers as not, it wasn't a huge deal. Most people wouldn't notice or care, but hey, there was a lip on there.
yeah,
And hey, it shouldn't be like that. Most
mhm,
people wouldn't care, most people wouldn't notice, but they did, and it shouldn't be like that. So, that's on us, we'll fix that.
yeah,
And then, you know what? We're here, we'll go above and beyond. They spent a ton of money with us just because it was a huge project and it wasn't the most profitable for us, but that doesn't matter to them. It's on me. I need to charge more next time or just figure out how to wrangle a project like that a little bit better because it got out of hand with changes and all this kind of stuff. But it's not their fault that it wasn't the most profitable job for us. They still spent a lot of money, over $200,000. I think it was 250 grand they spent just with us amongst
mhm,
other stuff that they paid for in the backyard, like the pool and the tiny house. So I want them to feel like, hey, I'm not going to, pinch pennies here at the end. I want you to feel like you have good service from us. We went above and beyond. We did everything we could and we went that extra mile for you. So that's kind of where I was coming from. And then, he texted me a day or two later and was like, hey, I just really want to thank you for, sticking or standing behind your work and even doing those couple things for free. It's really appreciated. So, um, yeah, I think it's a lot of those little things where you can make that decision of which way you're going to go. And I'm not saying if you charge for that, like that's wrong and you shouldn't do that, but I think you just have to kind of look at, what you're comfortable with and what you think like sticks to your values and what makes sense in that situation. So I just felt like in that situation, it was better to just go above and beyond. We're gonna be there anyway. We gotta fix these couple pavers, and you know what? It's been bothering you for like 2 years or whatever. Then we'll throw in something a little extra to make up for it.
Yeah,
That's all I got on that.
there you go.
So
I thought you were gonna talk about the other situation that we're in. Uh, a deck you built like 5
5
years
years
ago
ago,
or
we can
something.
also talk about that. We can also talk
Um,
about that because this is very similar. Go ahead.
yeah. Uh, I forget if it was like roofers or solar people or
Oh,
something.
that one. Oh, I thought you were gonna talk about another one.
Oh, the permit thing.
The permit thing, yeah.
Okay, well, we'll talk about the permit. That's 5 years ago. You built a deck, and the final inspection just never got done or
Documented or
recorded or
something, yeah.
documented or something.
I remember the guy
So
was there shaking the railings and being like, "These are sturdy." So, I remember him being there for the final inspection, but,
yeah,
it was like
somehow that got lost in translation, I guess.
yeah, and, I guess they had, hundreds of them because they sent out it looked like just like a mass letter, like, "This project was never closed out." They sent it to the client, this was roughly during COVID and, inspections were limited, and we might not have been able to get there for a final inspection, and I forget it I think this was before COVID. It definitely was.
It had to have been,
It
yeah.
was yeah, it was 2019 because Ant didn't even work here yet, and, the client texted me last weekend and was like, "Hey, it's this person, so and so. I don't know if you remember me. You built a deck for us 5 years ago, but I just got this letter." So I was like, it was on Saturday, and I texted right back like, "Hey, that's really weird. Let me check my files, see if I have anything on this." And so I looked, and they were like, "Oh my god, thank you so much for getting back to me so quickly. Like, I know it's been forever." So I looked, and all the project folders, I'd gotten rid of from 2019. The only thing I had was the contracts. So I didn't have any documentation from that, and I told them, "Hey, unfortunately, I don't have anything, but I will call on Monday and schedule an inspection, and hopefully there's no issues. If there is, let me know." And inspector came out, passed it, final inspection done, and they were super happy. They were like, "Thank you so much." Like, I feel like most people wouldn't even answer. It's been 5 years. But I was like, "Hey, sorry for the confusion. Like, I don't know what happened." I
Yeah.
remember the guy being out there, and like, I remember it was the first time we did cable railings, and I just remember the guy shaking the railing, and being like, "Oh, this is sturdy." I was like, "Yeah, thanks, man." So
Give the old shake test.
yeah, so it was a good week for
Yeah.
customer service.
Yeah. The other situation that I was talking about though was a deck you built like 2 years ago. Or no,
No, 5 years ago was I think it
that
was
was
actually
also 5 years
6 years ago.
a deck you built 6 years ago. Somebody was, I don't know if it was a solar people or a roofer or whatever, but they dropped a bucket of glue or adhesive onto the
Yeah,
deck, and you spent a long time on the phone with. Were you on the phone with like the homeowner or like the people, the roofing company or somebody trying to figure out like how you might possibly be able to clean it or maybe get these scratches out? I guess they tried to clean it and they scratched it all up or something. So you spent
yeah,
a good bit of time trying to like troubleshoot with these people, kind of knowing like, ooh,
yeah. Like, there's no
it's
way.
not gonna work.
There's no way.
But these are
Yeah,
things you can try, I guess.
that was the solar people. I'd already
Solar
talked to the
people.
homeowner, and yeah, they had, and it really sucks because the homeowner was like, uh, in the morning they were like getting set up to do it, and he's like, "Hey, like, are you gonna cover the deck? Like, make sure like nothing falls on or whatever." And they're like, "No, like, we're just we're not gonna be coming up and down here or whatever. Like, it's fine. Like, we're not gonna be using this area, so it doesn't need to be covered." And then like towards the end of the day, a box of like roofing tar fell off the roof and basically like sort of exploded all over the deck. And I guess they panicked as
Such a shame.
one normally, understandably would.
Yeah.
And they were scraping it and using WD-40 on it and all kinds of stuff. And there was a bunch of discolored marks on it where it kind of bleached it. There was a ton of scratches everywhere. And then there was still black tar stuck to it in a ton of places. So
Yeah.
this was not decorators. This was before we were using decorators, because I think we did this project like 6, maybe even 7 years ago. I think it might have been 2017 we did this project. So,
Mm.
bad luck on that.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So anyway, the solar company is
But
going to pay to get it redone.
yeah. So that will be charged for. But you did still spend a lot of your time on the phone with those people trying to, you know,
Yeah.
coordinate and work through it and try to help in any way you could.
Yeah.
So
I always feel like, because normally like a project like that now, like we wouldn't do. If
mhm,
that person called me for that deck that we built back then, now I would say, this probably isn't the right project for us.
mhm,
But back then, it was a great project for us. It helped me get started. He was a great client. And I just feel like anybody that hires us, I just want to always feel like if I see a past client out somewhere, like I want them to be like, "Hey, Sean, we had a great experience with you. What's up?"
mhm.
Like I don't want to feel at any point you know, like I didn't treat a client right or it was just simply transactional and like I don't want anyone to feel like that and I don't want to feel like that. So I
Yeah.
always feel like it's important. Somebody was nice enough to hire us and get us going on our journey or continue our journey with us. And I think that's important. They
Yeah,
take care of those people. So
definitely.
until they get unreasonable, and then you have to cut ties and you say, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done with this. This is
Yeah.
crazy. I'm a nice guy, but it's got to end.
Can
So
only be
there's a
pushed
balance.
so far. Yeah.
There's a
But
balance.
okay, so unexpected but great week for customer service. Good job, Sean.
Thank you so much. Were you clapping? Was that a
Oh, sorry. I was going to,
thank
yeah.
you so much?
There you
Oh,
go.
thanks so much.
There you go.
I appreciate it. Employee of the month, possibly?
We'll see.
That would be really funny if we did that because, like, I feel like the
Then you just
typical
named
perk,
yourself
yeah, every month.
every month.
I feel like the typical perk of employee of the month is like a special parking spot, and like we go to someone's site, like someone's house every day. So like
Mhm.
we could just say like, oh, Mr. or Mrs. whatever. Actually, this parking spot, I know it's right in front of your garage, but this is actually reserved for employee of the month. So don't park here.
Yeah, we are gonna
You
need you
see
to
the
move.
sign? We put this sign here. Yeah, you will get towed. It says it right there on the sign. So
Yeah,
employee of the month only. That would be
yeah.
pretty funny.
Yep. That would be pretty funny.
Anyway,
All right. Well, I'm glad we talked about that. We haven't really talked about that. That was good.
yeah, felt like a good introspective kind of you know test.
Yeah.
These are tests.
Yeah, it's like what's that guy who does that show? What would you do?
What
When
would
he
you
puts
do?
people in like really uncomfortable situations to see how they'd react.
Yeah,
This was a test of your uh chivalry. I don't know what the word would be.
I don't think so. I think that's when you're courting a woman. Um,
Oh, I thought
I
that
think
was
it
just
would
like
just be.
gentlemanly. I don't know.
Not sure.
Customer
Not sure.
service.
I
We'll
know
just
it.
go with
I know
customer
it.
service.
It has something to do with being a knight. So like
Chivalry?
sword. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it comes from like a
Let's
medieval
Google it
knight. Yeah,
because
Google that.
I do want to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, but anyway, I do think
Chivalry.
that
Oh
it's
yeah,
important to do those kind of things. Was that right?
the medieval knightly system with its religion, moral, and social code.
I am a wealth of knowledge. My God,
I did not
I
know that
impress
at all.
myself sometimes. I
There you go.
impress myself sometimes. So,
Good trivia.
yeah. Anyway,
All right. Well, let's move on because
yeah.
we're already a half an hour into this thing and
Oh God,
we haven't even gotten to our topic yet.
that's all right. All right. So we read this book. Why don't you give us
A
like
couple
your
weeks ago.
little rundown? A couple weeks ago, we kind of
uh,
realized that doing a book every week and talking about it on the podcast is probably a little much. It's a little excessive. I don't think
yeah,
everyone else is reading the books with us, so um, we'll do it. We'll do it every couple weeks.
yeah, we might adjust a little bit.
We gotta
Um,
stay flexible. Go ahead.
so this book was a lot. I took it a lot about like leadership. And I thought that you'd really vibe with this because, like you said, it's a lot about mindfulness and leadership and like how to treat people. And I did really like this book because I felt like this is one of the few books that I have read recently that was, it's like a self quote unquote self-help book, but it is a little bit different where it like ties in the mindfulness. Um, there were a couple moments where, we always say we don't love that when they just like, you know, throw in a couple cuss words to seem cool. I did feel like this had a couple instances
Yeah.
of that, which which I
Yeah.
thought I didn't love because I was like, this is supposed to be like mindful, and then he's saying like uneffable, uneffability, whatever it was. Uh,
Unf-wittable? Like, you
withable,
can't
yeah,
F with me?
uneff withable or whatever.
Yeah.
Um,
I thought the same exact thing. I was like,
yeah.
"Oh, come on, just
Come
say
on, don't do just don't
something
do that.
else. Don't be
Say
this
it in
guy."
like in a smart sounding way. That's all we need. We just
Yeah.
need you to sound smart.
We know
Um,
we're cool just by ourselves. We don't need to do this. We don't need to cuss to be cool.
exactly.
God.
Um, but yeah, so it was really kind of about uncovering what within you motivates you and then using that to connect with other people. So, all in all, I thought it was a really good book.
That was a really good way to put it. Uncovering what did you just say there? Let's repeat that. I think that was good.
Now I forget what it said. Uncovering like what motivates you and then
Using that
finding
to connect with
yeah,
other
using
people.
that to connect with or to be a good leader. I guess like yeah, being a good leader. That's it was very leadership driven, like creating your teams and motivating your teams. Uh Not necessarily like leader in a boss way, but leader in like a, you know,
Like, go
anyone
to
can be a
battle way.
leader. Yeah, like
Yeah.
anybody can be a leader kind of way.
Yeah. You can lead from in front or you can lead from behind. Either way,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
true. Anytime we're
So
walking through an airport, I say, "Do you know where you're going?" And you say, "No, I'm following from in front."
yeah.
And I, in that case, am leading from behind and I don't even know it.
That's always a tough one, because I'm just naturally a fast walker. I like
Yeah.
to walk with purpose, but most of the time I don't know where I'm going. So usually I'm in
Yeah.
front and I'm following from in front, and it's not
Yeah.
ideal, but we make it work. We make
Yeah.
it work.
It's a good thing.
Anyway, yeah, I thought that it was really insightful on leadership and like the ideologies behind what makes a leader tick and what makes a leader be able to connect with people. I think leadership is such a hot topic. It's like a buzzword. Like leadership, what is it? Is it like
Mhm.
and I think it like at its core, it's finding a way to connect with people and not like not necessarily motivating them because I think a lot of people can self motivate. It's really like kind of tapping into what's important to them and making sure that what you're trying to lead them to will also lead them to their bigger goals. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah.
Like kind of putting them in a position to be able to do the things that they like,
Mhm.
you know?
Definitely.
And I think you're a good example of that because I think there are certain things where you are definitely the best at like doing contracts and like I think I think you could easily have a full-time position where you are just on the computer all the time. Um but you don't want to do that. You know what I mean? You want to be
Mhm.
able to do a little bit of different things and that helps us out a lot being able to kind of like be nimble like that and like, hey, Catherine, help with this. Like today we went to the previous job and did all the joint sand. And being able to do that, it helps us a lot because, I think your skill set would be really well suited to doing like tough computer work and like content stuff and strategy stuff and hey do a spreadsheet on like our engagement rate on these type of posts or do like you could definitely do that stuff but I think that would just like burn you out and you would get bored.
Yeah.
I think you need to be challenged in different ways and I think um and you don't need to be motivated externally. I think you're just self motivated so it's just like hey, I'm gonna kind of like let you know the overall things that we need to get done. You know the things that I'm really bad at that I need help with. Like I'm just gonna kind of let you do whatever you want. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're
Mhm.
self motivated. I don't need to be like Catherine, stop doing whatever. Stop playing Farmville on your phone. Like I know that you'll just get stuff done, and
Yeah.
I think that you like that flexibility.
Yeah, I think for me, it has been the flexibility has been key because like when I first started, I was going to just be fully remote, but then I quickly learned like I'm never going to learn anything about this business unless I'm like truly hands-on. So
Yeah.
being hands-on is going to only make me better at the other stuff that I have to do. And I think we kind of all acknowledged that to be the case. So I'm not on the tools like, 100% of the time, and I'm not doing contracts 100% of the time, but like knowing that both things help me be better at good or at both things. So
Yeah.
you as my boss allowed me that freedom after we kind of realized like, oh yeah, it's better all around. So
And you are so welcome. I'm
thank you
so
so
happy
much
to
for
do
that
so.
flexibility. I do appreciate it.
It's no problem. Really doesn't
Thank you
come
for my
from my
job.
heart. It's really just because I know it makes me a more effective leader. So I
Right,
don't
right,
care
right.
if you get to do what you want. It's just leadership,
Yeah.
psychological warfare.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Anyway, um, I was actually going to say something I feel like maybe insightful, but then I forgot with the psychological warfare talk.
Mm,
But
hmm hmm
yeah, I think you
But
being able to what?
no, I was gonna say like I feel like Anthony and I are a good juxtaposition of this because I am the kind of person who I want my hands in everything and I want to learn everything and I want to know how everything works because it helps
Mhm.
me be better at like a little bit and that's just how my brain works. I need to kind of paint that whole picture so I understand everything. Anthony is so focused on carpentry like on hardscape days, he's like I don't want to learn it. I don't. I'll move heavy things and that's it. I don't want to learn it. I don't care. Like I want to be really good at that thing that I'm really good at and I can work towards. And that's exactly what he does. Like on hardscape days, we're like, help move that pallet over here, and he's like, done. You got it. I'm on it.
Yep.
But I don't want to learn. Like so. I think that you as a leader identified that about both of us, and we're kind of like, okay, that's how you are going to be the best. That's how I'm going to get the most out of you by letting you both kind of do things in the way that you're good at things.
Yeah, and I think when you have people that are good at like doing things and are self-motivated, like the most important thing is really just to keep them around. It's
Yeah.
like when you have people that
Do
are
what you
good at
can to
stuff
keep people, yeah.
and are self-motivated, like your best your best course of action is just like, okay, I want you to continue working here. And I think the best way for people to continue working somewhere is, besides all like, hey, pay them well, benefits, like all of that, like
Mhm.
kind of important stuff. Like, but I think the biggest thing is just like let them do stuff that is going to make them enjoy their day
Yeah.
the most that they can. Like some days are going to suck no matter where you work, but
Mhm.
like let people do what makes them happy and excited, and try to let them do as much of that as they can. And if they are self-motivated and want to be part of the team, like they'll keep themselves busy doing the things that they like that help move the needle. Like Ant loves carpentry, and like great, because on carpentry days, which are most days there's something to
Mhm.
do with carpentry, like I know he's gonna be out on the tools, 8 a.m., like getting ready. He's gonna
Yep.
be just running and gunning. He knows what to do. I don't need to like, you know, unless I really feel like getting out there, like, do some oversight just for the
Yeah.
heck of it. But like he's I don't need to motivate him to build a deck. He's
Yeah.
gonna want to build the deck.
He's
So
gonna build it, and he's constantly looking how to get better and constantly,
yeah.
like, challenging himself and seeing what else we can do and different ways to do things, so it's not even like he's just kind of coasting, like, he's
Yeah.
motivated. He likes what he
Yeah.
does so much, and which motivates him.
And he doesn't care about hardscapes. I think he likes
No.
that we like them, and I think he likes that they're a part of the finished product. Like I think he acknowledges that it makes the whole project better, but
Yeah.
on hardscape days, he just wants to be a soldier. He just wants to pick up a
Mhm.
brick, move it over there, tell me where you want me to
Yeah.
pile these. I'll
Yep.
do that all day. And he's
Mhm.
happy to just like turn the brain off and just like move stuff. And, you know, and on hardscape days, you need somebody to do that.
Yeah, 100%.
And he's really he loves
He's
doing
really
that.
good
Like,
at that.
every once in a while, he just wants to, like, have a nothing day where he's just,
Mhm.
like, Doesn't have to think about anything. He's just like, point where you want me to stack these pavers for you. I'll keep them coming.
Yep.
And, you know, I don't need to be on him like, hey, you really need to be learning how to do all this stuff. He's like,
Mhm.
we don't need him to. Somebody else
Yeah.
needs to lead on hardscape day, like Concrete
Mhm.
Kathy. So
Yeah.
uh I think it just it works out for everybody. Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
Because I have fun at work. I have fun at work and I like having fun at work.
I
And
agree.
I
I
think
also have
everybody
fun at
else
work.
wants to have fun
Yeah. I agree.
and be a little bit scared that
Of
someone's
getting
gonna
scared?
scare you.
Yeah.
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 Um,
Constantly be on the edge of your seat.
yeah. We definitely go through ebbs and flows of that getting so out of control, us scaring each other.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
oh, you know what? Okay. I think we can talk about it here. So,
Okay.
the only person that listens to the podcast on the crew is Nick. So, Nick, here's a little treat for you since you listen. I'm gonna buy a ghillie suit, and I am going to scare someone so good.
I cannot
So,
wait. Do you think you'll have
uh,
it by Monday? Can we get it here by Monday?
I'm gonna try my best. You know what? I'm gonna order it like ASAP. I think I
Okay.
probably can. I can probably find one on Amazon. But for
Yeah.
people that don't know, a ghillie suit is like it's like a hunting camouflage thing, and it looks like you are a pile of leaves. Like
Yeah.
it's the most outrageous looking thing ever, and it's just gonna be great. It's gonna be such a like. It'll be great either way because it'll either be amazing to scare someone like that,
Yeah.
or it's gonna be hilarious if I go to that much of a length and I
And
blow it
fail.
and don't scare somebody, and I'm just, like, in a ghillie suit, and, like, it's just gonna be like, "What the hell is going on?"
Ah,
So,
it's gonna be good. I
yeah,
am so excited.
I know. I'm really excited for it too. So, yeah, I think getting back to the book and leadership, I think, I think it ties in with a lot of the other things that we were talking about, like the values that you have to, like, lean on. You know, you have to
Mhm.
make sure that the people around you align with those values, and I think people want to also work at a place that it feels like they're doing a good thing, like they're putting good into the world. They don't wanna feel like they work at a place that's just ripping people off, you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Even if the money's really good, most people aren't gonna be, like, you know, satisfied, if they're like, I feel like we're kind of ripping people off a little bit. Like they want to feel like they're providing good service and they feel good about what they do and the work that they put into the world. So I think like aligning your values with the people that you surround yourself with and kind of getting to know your team and your employees and everybody that you work with and trying to align their part of the vision with part of their vision. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like we're all a part of this premier vision. Let's try to like Venn diagram, Venn diagram? You remember
Mhm.
those?
Yeah.
Like let's make sure that you're
One of
you're
these
part of
situations?
premier vision, exactly. And your like personal vision, we've got this sweet spot where they overlap. You know what I mean?
Definitely. You spend so much time working, you might as well find some sort of fulfillment. I feel like
Yeah.
it's such a sad version of life to me where you spent 40 hours a week every single week for your entire adult life doing something that you really couldn't care less about, you know? That's
Yeah.
like very depressing to think about. So,
It's so sad to think about.
yeah.
And I think, you like to tinker with stuff. You like projects and everything. You've got a ton of
Mhm.
house projects that you're always working on. So like you get to learn stuff at work that, you can like get better at learning certain things and then be able to tinker with your home projects and it kind of all goes together. I
Yeah.
think I think that's important and when you find somebody that's good, again, that knows what they're doing and is self-motivated, do everything you can to just keep them there. That's the most important thing. Like it reminds me of in sports, people always say the best ability is availability. Like somebody could be really good, but they're always hurt. Like they're not
Mhm.
good. So like you need somebody that's there. So
Yeah.
it's like you gotta make sure that they want to stay
Yeah.
and realize that
Absolutely.
I think some people get so obsessed over like squeezing so much productivity out of people that they kind of like lose sight of the fact that like not everyone is going to be like 100% firing like every day. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
and I'm not either, obviously. I'm like 50% most days, and that's on a good week. So, you know, but like not everyone's
Uh,
going to be 100% firing productivity all day long, every day.
yeah.
And you have to like realize that like everyone that works with you is a human being that's not just a productivity machine. And like some days are going to be a little bit less productive. Some days are going to be a lot more productive. And like that I think was part of the book too, like being able to, not necessarily be an oversharer or like have to know every intimate detail about a person's life, but I think we're all like on the team like pretty close. Like we sort of know like, people might have some personal stuff going on or like,
Yeah.
have family stuff or just like other stresses in their life and sometimes that does bleed over into work and like you have to realize like people have a life outside of work and sometimes not that it affects their work, but it's, not everyone's going to be 100% every day. And just knowing, when to like, I don't know, extend a, hey, is everything okay? Like, that kind of thing. Like being vulnerable with the people that you work with.
Yeah, definitely.
Does that make
And
sense?
yeah, and creating a space where they feel comfortable coming to you. Like it's not it's like a give and a take. Like,
Yeah.
you can't if you withhold everything about your personal life and don't
Yeah.
say anything, no one's going to feel comfortable like coming to you. So it's kind of like a give and a take. Like be
Definitely.
okay with like a little bit of vulnerability in your workplace so people feel comfortable saying like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. This week I have been off. I've been dealing with X, Y, and Z and it's really affecting me, blah blah blah. Next week I'm ready to hit it and I'll be better." Like
Yeah.
it's a vulnerability thing and it's
Definitely.
it's healthy.
Yeah. I
And it's
think,
so much
yeah,
better to know that
100%.
about an employee if if somebody's like appearing to be slacking off or not doing their best or whatever and you just everybody's stonewalling each other, it kind of just looks like it's like, "Oh, well this person doesn't care anymore." Like,
Yeah.
it's hard for you if you don't have that kind of vulnerability. It might just appear that
Definitely.
they suck now, but in reality they're really going through some stuff.
Yeah. And one example that I can kind of think of is like every end of project slash beginning of project, like I always get like stressed and
Yeah.
it was something that I wasn't even like super self-aware of at at the time that this was like such a pattern for me. I think
Mhm.
you really helped point that out to me. Like, okay, it's the end of a project. Oh, he's getting a little, like and I think when I get like stressed out, I'm just like more like quiet
Yeah,
and like
which
I'm
is
not
very
as
unlike you.
which is so unlike me. So everyone's just like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like,
Yeah.
what are you pissed off at everybody? And it's just like, no, I'm just like a little stressed. And like, it took a while to, like, for me to be able to, like, pick that out. Like, oh,
Mhm.
okay, this is why I'm feeling like this. It's the end of a project. We're starting a new project. There's so many of these little details going on. This is what's stressing me out. And like, you pointed that out to me. And it's definitely like helped the morale of the whole team because when I'm like that, you're like, you'll either point it out to me and maybe I can like change my attitude, or you can just be like, okay, he's not mad at me. He's just like acting like a little baby because he can't deal with these tasks. But I think that's important. Like, having that like, connection with people that they know when you're on, when you're off, and like what could be the thing behind it. Because if you didn't know that, like you'd be like, okay, like every month or whatever, he's all pissed off at everybody.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
that
Suck
made it
that
sound
guy.
like yeah,
Oh,
like that
like
time of the month for
yeah.
him. you
Classic that
uh,
time of the month.
oh God, yeah, the boss. Oh man. Um, So I think that was a really good way that you put it. It's a give and a take. Like
Mhm.
as the leader, like you have to be vulnerable yourself so that you create a space where people feel comfortable to like share things with you. Not like the
Mhm.
most intimate details of their life, but to just if they're going through something, like feel comfortable to say like, "Hey, I'm just like I'm going through something like, or I got all this personal stress happening with X, Y, and Z." Like having that feel at least somewhat of a comfortable space, I think is important. And I don't know. I think we're all pretty open with each other. I think it's definitely something we could always work on, and sometimes I probably joke too much, and then maybe that isn't like that could I think maybe hurt the safe space vibe a little bit. You
I
know,
think so.
sometimes it like a little bit. Sometimes it like I feel like I get a little bit too jokey a little bit,
Okay.
and you know, it's just something to think. I think it's just something to always be aware of. Always be
Yeah.
reflecting on how you lead. I guess
Yeah.
I hate saying that because I feel like we're all leading each other. We're like a herd.
We're all
You
leaders
know,
here.
we're all leaders. Those are the best times
Uh,
when we all are like really like staunch in our opinion of something, and like we're all just
yeah.
uh
So
that's
many
funny.
cooks in the kitchen.
Oh, sometimes those are the best times. Like sometimes you really just need to like kind of just get into it with somebody, and um everybody I think everybody knows it comes from a good place. Like
Yeah.
me and Aunt got into it, what was it, yesterday?
Yeah.
2 days ago?
2 days ago, yeah.
He was getting pissed off at the laser level, and I came out, and it was, you know, we had a little back and forth, and it was good times.
It ended with
Both of us
laughter,
knew we
so it
weren't
was good.
serious.
Yeah.
It was funny, and I always love coming out and saving the day for Aunt. So definitely hold that over his head for a long time.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right. So, do you have any other points about this book you want to make?
I don't think so. I think this would be a good one to potentially potentially read again in the future. It's just a lot of
Mhm.
I didn't feel like it was a lot of like, okay, this is the game plan, like do X, Y, and Z. I think it was more like these are things to think about, and you can,
Mhm.
depending on when you listen to it and like what's going on in work or personal life, like you'll pick up different things that stick out to you more. So
Yeah.
I think it would be interesting to just listen to it another time, and just see what stands out to me that time, depending on like what's going on with work or personal life at that juncture in time. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Definitely. Definitely.
Something to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You got
Well, we
anything
are.
else to say?
I feel like I took a lot of notes. I feel like there was a lot in this that we could talk about, but I mean, we could even say like individual things for separate topics. But
Yeah.
I'll say quickly, one of the other, and it kind of feeds into what we were just talking about, but one of the things that I really liked about this book was when they talked about co-visioning, like um it's like when a leader gets really invested in like creating a vision with an employee. So like you talk through like what the employee's path is, or I kind of took it as like what we do where we like kind of co-vision like where Premiere is going to go or where Hardworking Happy Hour is going to go. Like if you bring obviously, you're still the boss and you're still going to obviously it's defaulting to you. It's your vision, but like if you gather your employees and they feel like they are kind of invested in the vision of the business, that's a great way to boost morale rather than feel like they're just, okay, I'm just along for this ride, like co-visioning, quote unquote, like people's careers or the trajectory of a business is like a great motivator for employees or coworkers or teams. So
Yeah.
I wrote that down because I really liked that one.
That's that is one that didn't necessarily stick out to me, but I think that's a really good thing that we should probably be doing a little bit more of.
Yeah.
I feel like we used to be more in the habit of doing like, and it was usually on Fridays, like a strategy big picture sort of like, I don't know, whatever, like an hour we would just like kind of kick around some ideas, and
Hmm.
that's definitely super helpful because like sometimes it's great if either I come up with a vision for something completely on my own, or you do completely on your own, and like it just, we talk about it and it's like, oh, that's great, let's just do that. But I think a lot of our best ideas have come from us just kind of like brainstorming, spitballing some ideas, and we kind of build that bigger idea together. And
Hmm.
then everybody feels like they play a part in it, and they were part of the conception of it, and they are part of making it real. So I do think that that's something that we should be getting more back to more.
Hmm.
to, kind of push that vision.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
2020. The vision, not the year.
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, it's not.
The year 2024.
Definitely not.
The vision needs to be 2020.
Right.
So, something to think about.
Something about.
All
All
right.
right.
Well, that's pretty much it for and I got another book for us that I read down. I wrote down. Didn't read it down. I
Okay.
wrote down Delivering Happiness. I think that would be a good one. That I
Delivering
think it's
happiness.
about the founder of Zappos.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I
That's
I have heard
I've heard
of.
that book a lot. So, I think
Yeah.
that would be a cool one
Okay.
that we should do.
I'll write it
So,
down.
doesn't necessarily have to be next week. Maybe it'll be next week, maybe it'll be in a couple weeks, but get it if you want. And
Yeah.
we can talk about it all together.
Amazing.
All right, well,
All right.
that's it for this week. If you could be so kind, leave us a review. It'll take you 2 seconds. Leave us 5 stars. Tell a friend about it, and follow us on Instagram and all that kind of stuff. And reach out to us and tell us how good or bad of a job we are doing at this right now. So,
Right.
till next time, this has been the Hardworking Happy Hour.
See you next week.